Welcome to the Business Happy Hour with your hosts, Frank Coto from Lincoln Lending Group, Ryan Pelky from TampaBay Plumbers, and Doug Ford with Suncoast Roofing Solutions on 970 WFLA. These three business owners will teach you how to work to live it up, not live to work. Now sit back, grab a cold one if you have one, and get ready for some serious business talk with three hilariously serious business owners. Now, your host of the Business Happy Hour, Frank Coto.
Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, Tampa Bay. You are listening to the Business Happy Hour once again with your host, Frank Coto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group and 813 Mortgage. And in studio, my incredible co-host, Doug Ford, the owner of Suncoast Roofing Solutions.
What's going on?
All right, not Suncoast Roofing.
No. It's funny, I actually had another person claim they got injured. and they're suing my company because he claims he worked for me. I'm like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah, that was me.
The lawyers can't do their due diligence?
It's like every week you have a new one.
Oh my gosh. So
Man.
It's annoying.
So you know, it's probably Ryan actually. Ryan's out today, guys. You're gonna miss that deep, raspy, politically charged voice. He is in Key West with his beautiful bride, having a good time. Although we are seeing him on the Facebook page, so clearly
I wonder if he's
away.
getting some rain down there because
that hurricane. You know, I didn't even know about that hurricane.
My wife actually just last night got in from San Antonio.
She was back early.
She was supposed to come home tonight, but they're gonna get clobbered right now.
Yeah, and did you see some of those reports that they're saying because of these high pressure systems, it's going to hit and then back off and then hit again in Louisiana?
The problem is, it's moving at 3 miles per hour. So It's going to sit there. It's stalling. As it hits the coast, it's going to stall, and it's going to do like a 10-foot storm surge.
And people don't realize that hurricanes, most of the damage is not winds. It's water and storm surge and flooding. So they're
saying for every the basic 30 inches of rain they might get.
30 inches of rain. 3 feet of rain.
Yes. In the next couple of days. Doesn't sound like fun to me.
You know, what's surprising though is we haven't had any weather from it. No winds, no anything. I guess it's
so
west.
far away, but it's pulling moisture from the Atlantic across, so that's why we're getting the rain we're getting.
Oh, got it. Okay, yeah, I didn't even realize there was a hurricane. You know,
south of us is getting clobbered right now with rain.
Wow, like don't tell me Miami and stuff.
No, it's more like Sarasota and Northport and.
Good. No, I got to head out of town. Just making sure I'm okay. But generally in mortgages, Ryan's brought this up before. It's crazy how protective.
So you guys can't write any policies right now.
Right. Well, we can write a mortgage, but you can't write insurance. They call it the box. If there is a hurricane in the box, and this box is huge. By the way, it's like Trump's box. It's huge, but it's all around Florida.
His soapbox, or
his soapbox. Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute. But no, it goes all the way out past the Caribbean, all the way to the eastern coast of Mexico, south of Cuba and the Bahamas, Key West and all that. So if there's a hurricane anywhere near there, then insurance companies cannot write policies. So that basically shuts down real estate closings because you can't bind your insurance policy. So if you are right now worrying about closing in the next week, you probably need to contact your insurance agent, your mortgage professional, and make sure that your insurance has been bound. That's the key word. Once it's bound, you are covered. But if it's not bound, you might have a little issue. Well, that's a little side note for the day. So, Doug, there's a lot of stuff going on with statues, and I'm not talking about the one they built of you and me and Ryan outside the studio.
Yeah, I'm wondering what direction to head here because it's just so much information to go over.
Well, where do we start? Let's just start kind of on the whole debate about the Confederate monuments and statues. You know, we have a lot of banter online, which we're going to address, by the way, a little later in the show. But there's two sides of this debate on whether they should remove these Confederate statues from the Civil War or not. And, Doug and I think, came to agreement on some things that some of those statues, even though I'm in support of leaving up history for the most part, some of those statues were put up during the Jim Crow era, and they were put up, what were you saying, for?
Yeah, so, I mean, if a statue is put up to instill fear.
Sure.
In a African-American citizen, take them down.
Okay. I
mean, it was put up for the wrong reasons.
And what you were saying was, and a lot of people don't go this far and do the research, but what you were saying was there is a historical record of why they were put up, by who funded them.
Yeah,
right?
Actually, I saw the chart, and it's almost like the stock market. It goes up and down, and right around the Jim Crow era, it shows the most statues were put up.
So I think there were 700 and something. Do you have any clue, how that went? Or
nah, I should have saved it because it was actually pretty interesting information.
Yeah, we need to get that. We need to post it online to educate people. So, basically what we're saying is that some of the statues could have been put up for the wrong reasons, but a lot of them weren't put up for the wrong reasons. And Doug and I do share the opinion, that if you erase history, it's going to repeat itself. And we keep using the pyramids as an example. I mean, pyramids were built by some bad slave-owning dudes, and built by probably hundreds of thousands of slaves.
So one of our friends made the comment, well, it's for a tomb, so that's why it was built. I said, but it's to monument that person. So whether it's a tomb or a statue, it still goes the same way.
So it's okay if Lee's buried under the statue? Is that what we have to do here?
I mean, that seems like what some people are saying.
Well, either way, though, I don't care if you have no right to deface a tomb. Absolutely not. I don't care what's on top of that gravesite. You do not deface that.
No, I think it's just getting out of hand. I mean, now my friends in New Orleans, they removed a Andrew Jackson statue. Now they're talking about possibly
President Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, now they're talking about they're talking about George Washington. Now they're talking about Jefferson.
Jackson.
So I mean, I just don't understand. That's just our history. That's who we were. However many years ago. Why does everyone want to remove it?
That is the key question that I have. Is where do you draw the line? Doug and I were interviewing a friend of ours who is more on the I would say the liberal side of this, or she's more in support of removing, for the most part, everything. And that was the exact question we presented: was where do you draw this line? At what point, if you're going to remove Jefferson and Jackson, and then all of a sudden you go to Washington? I mean, guys, what are we going to change the name of our capital?
We need to get rid of the White House. I mean, come on, it was built by slaves.
Well, it's a racist name, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We got to change the name for sure.
I mean, and then the whole capital.
And I made the point. We were Confederates and Yankees back then.
Okay.
Now essentially we're Republicans and Democrats. So and say that's only been 100-something years since this whole issue's been come about. So in 100 years. Say the Democrats erect all these statues, and we're going to say, oh, because the Democrats they erected that, we're getting rid of it.
Right, it's the exact same thing.
I mean, it really is the same thing.
100 years, do we want people looking back on the Republicans and Democrats and say that we end up being the Greens and the Blues or something? Who knows?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we're like, yeah, you know what? Those guys
they were bad.
They were real bad.
And you brought up the point. I mean, what if the South won?
Right. Okay.
What the thing is, people call treason. Well, we were all the entire country was in treason.
Thank you. That's the point.
How is it only one side?
Exactly. So people, and I think most of these people are probably paid protesters, and a lot of them don't even know history to be very factual. But if you want to look at facts, the Civil War started roughly 75 years after the American Revolution, after we gained our independence. So these traitors you guys are referring to, these are us. These are our family. These are our blood, our DNA. If it wasn't for these traitors to believe that they needed to have their own country and their own set of beliefs, then we would still be paying taxes to the crown right now.
Yep.
Okay, we would not be the United States of America. And then less than a full generation later, we have a disagreement within our own country, which is legitimate, and we can go into the reasons of the Civil War. People have different opinions on how the Civil War started. There's one thing that I want to bring up, and that's, yes, slavery was a central issue, but it was not the starting issue of the Civil War. And you can argue till you're blue in the face with me, but the argument was states' rights and the states having the right to choose and make their own rules. And these 11 southern states decided that they wanted to secede because they were not feeling that they could make these decisions. Well, here's the argument for why it was not based on slavery. Because Abraham Lincoln, if the Civil War was started by slavery, would have signed and spoke the Emancipation Proclamation in the beginning of the war.
Yep.
But history shows that the North was actually starting to lose the war about 3 years in, and so Abraham Lincoln did something that was genius. He made it a moral issue. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation, therefore making it a moral high ground. If you're on the North, you're on the good side. If you're on the South, you're on the bad side. It raised power for the North.
But didn't the North have majority of the slaves or a good amount of slaves?
From what I've read, they had more than the South at some times. And it is because why? Because they had money.
Of course.
They had more money than the South. Now, the South did use slaves as their primary, workforce and labor, where the North, they had industry. You know, you guys, sorry, Doug. You are from more north than I am.
Yeah, but so that's funny. Like, people call me Yankee. I grew up in D.C. I don't think there's...
You're like on the line.
I know, I'm right on the line. So
right on the line.
I mean, Maryland, D.C. is...
Some would say D.C.'s even worse.
Oh, man.
I don't know. You know, you guys are like your own pocket of crazies there.
Well, they're not even labeled, like, they don't even have their own government. Like, no. D.C. is... I don't even know what you call it.
I don't really know, but you should know. No, but the whole thing is, you know, there was bad on both sides, but this became the central focus of the war, and then obviously the North won. But my thing this morning was, if the South had won, you know, what would really be that much different? I mean, you would have people in the South that have different laws that, you know, a lot of people are not going to agree with, just like, you know, we have people on NATO that still oppress women and do all these other things. I don't think it's right by any means, but if you didn't believe in it, you didn't have to live there. You could have moved into the North, you know, or if you wanted it, you could have moved into the South. Now, eventually, I think the same thing would have happened that happened with the civil rights and everything. I think eventually we would have come around, everyone, and said, you know what, guys, it's probably not really that cool that you're enslaving a group of people. And I think that they would have been freed regardless. Probably not right when it did, but the whole thing was the West was being built and everything was expanding west, and the North wanted to curb slavery to be used as the driving force of building the West. Yep. Which, you know, hey, that's fine with me. But do your research on. Yeah. So
I think back to DC is actually called taxation without representation.
That's.
Because there's no one that supports them for the House or the Senate or anything. You know, like every state has their own congressperson.
So no representation.
Yeah, no representation, but they get plenty of taxes.
That's very, very interesting. So, guys, all the followers on Facebook, we're going to talk about this in a minute after the break, but hop on right now while you're listening. We'd love to hear your opinion. We'll acknowledge on air. If you don't want your name, that's fine. We don't have to say it. You probably use a different screen name, though. But we do want to hear from you guys. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour right now, and we're open to your opinions. We're going to take a quick break and be back, and we'll talk about Trump and a little bit more about these statues on 970 and Facebook Live, the Business Happy Hour with Frank and Doug. We're going to be back in just a minute. Make sure you post on Facebook and stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. Thank you for choosing us for all of your plumbing, septic, and water treatment needs. What makes us different at TampaBay Plumbers is that we're a local full-service plumbing contractor that can handle any project, large or small, including cured-in-place pipelining, septic installations, and various water treatment products. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or 24/7 by phone at 813-PLUMBER. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you. This is Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. At some point, we've all had to have a drain line snaked out. This typically involves running a steel cable through the drain line in an effort to clear a blockage. This often leaves a film of scale or buildup on the inside of the pipe with a hole in the middle. The only way to properly descale a drain line is to perform a hydrojet service. We use equipment that essentially pressure washes the inside of the pipe, leaving your drain lines free and clear. The two symptoms of a sewer backup are foul odors and slow-moving drains. If you are experiencing either of these, contact us at tampaplumber.net or 813-PLUMBER. My name is Ryan, and I'm the production manager for TampaBay Plumbers, your one-stop shop for all of your plumbing and septic needs. We pride ourselves on building the reputation as the best plumbing and septic company in the Tampa Bay area. But don't take it from me. Look us up on Google and you will see that we have a 4.8 star rating with over 100 reviews. We also have multiple awards and recognition from multiple online review sites such as Angie's List, Yelp, and Facebook. We do everything plumbing and septic, from residential to commercial, new construction to service. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER. I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. As a plumbing and septic company with over 100 years of combined experience, we know how frustrating a sewer backup can be. That is why we pride ourselves on being able to identify the cause of a problem before a backup ever happens. One of the tools we use to identify a problem in the sewer system is a video inspection camera. This camera runs through the drain line and is able to identify and locate any problems in the sewer system on a live feed. We then take that information from the live feed and are able to provide a recommendation on how to best fix the problem, oftentimes without the use of any excavation. If you are experiencing any problems with your sewer system, you can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER.
Hi, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers, and welcome to our website. So what's different about TampaBay Plumbers? Everything is different about us. Our company does literally everything that involves plumbing, water, drainage, sewer, septic. We handle it from A to Z, which is completely different than just about every company in town. If you call a plumber, they don't do septic necessarily. Definitely if you call a septic contractor, they don't do plumbing. In addition to doing a very wide scope of services, we do them extremely well. And the reason why is our process and our people. We have spent many years perfecting our craft, and we've also spent many years finding the best people to operate our system. And we have by far the best plumbers in town. I will put my guys up against any companies, anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's just evidence in the type of quality work that we put out. Go online, look at our reviews on Google, look at our reviews on Angie's List. No one else is as highly rated as us unless they're putting bogus reviews up. But our company takes a lot of pride in what we do on a daily basis, and we hope that you give us a chance. Again, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. Thanks a lot for visiting our site.
You have been listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show, the Business Happy Hour. Make sure you take a minute and click on our Facebook live feed right now. We are open to your comments. We want to hear what you guys have to say. And listen, we don't want people that only agree with us. We want you guys to disagree. We are freedom fighters here. We believe in free speech.
Well, I mean, we're all created equal. Whether
Absolutely.
you're black, white, purple, green. I mean, I don't really care.
Especially the green people.
But the problem is that people don't respect each other. Right. I mean, they're, on our page, I don't like that people are using foul language or calling people names. I mean, why? I mean, it's just people are telephone tough guy, but it's really, they want to hide behind that screen and just say what they want. But
Keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors. That's a good one.
That was Berlander. I like that one.
I like that
Keyboard
one.
warriors. That's a good one.
But I mean, I guarantee these people will not come face to face with one another and say the things they're saying online.
Right.
And it's
I agree.
sad. I mean, people need to stop this. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've not seen more racist comments in the past, 3-4 days than I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you. And some of those comments on there, guys, we're all about, talking to each other and having a discussion, like the lady we were talking to on the way here.
Yep.
Good friend of mine. We agree on nothing politically.
Oh, my best friend, same way. We agree on nothing, but at the same time, we can have a constructive criticism argument
Absolutely.
and still be friends.
And you have to have those conversations. If you don't, you can't even understand what the other side is saying. So it's good to talk about it. Then you guys kind of figure it out, and you say, you know what? We actually do agree on a couple things.
But that's what makes the United States unique, is that we should be able to have our own opinions. We can voice our own opinions, but do it in the right manner.
Right.
And that's the problem. Is I think because of social media, it's allowing people to be these keyboard warriors. You know, and that's it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, they're using the mom jokes. Come on, guys.
Well, they're using the N-word. They're using. I mean,
yeah, I saw that.
You shouldn't be. It's unnecessary.
Right.
So I mean, we're probably going to start taking people off of our page that start talking like that because it just shouldn't be. It shouldn't go on.
Yeah, guys, and we're not saying we don't want conversation. We just be respectful of each other. If we see you calling somebody racial slurs, we're probably going to remove your post. Speaking of. Okay, we noticed a couple on there, and I want to come from a business angle. We are the Business Happy Hour, right? Let's come from a business angle, Doug. So one of these posts that we saw, they were an employee, clearly, of a large corporation.
Yes, and that's a problem. The people. I mean, this is your life.
Yes.
And like you said, the posts don't go away.
Nope.
So if your employer finds this, I mean, I know if one of my employees says some of the things that I've been seeing on our page, I would definitely fire them.
Yeah, and you can lose your job. Now, not only can you lose your job, but that could haunt you for the rest of your life. Remember, guys, what you put online, it's there forever.
Forever.
I mean, I can't tell you how many posts that I've typed and I deleted before I hit post because I thought that for 2 seconds that I probably don't want people. I don't want my children.
Kind of like what we talked
this.
about. You see something you don't agree with, and I have a problem with this too. Is that maybe take an hour.
It's a good idea
To think about it before you post it.
Exactly.
You're when you immediately read something, you get enraged and you start typing things you shouldn't be typing. So before you do it, press send, take an hour, think about it, and then go back and retype it.
Right. Now, I did it just the other day, and this will segue into where this whole thing is stopping, but I did it the other day because I posted something, and I rarely post, heavily political things, but Doug, you sent me something that I thought was really interesting. It was about a monument to Christopher Columbus that is supposedly the oldest in the world. It's from the 1700s.
Yeah, somebody almost destroyed it.
They took a sledgehammer to it. And, I honestly didn't know much about Christopher Columbus since what I learned in grade school. He sailed the ocean blue in 92 or something like that, And, he came here. Well, Columbus, if you do some research, he's a pretty bad dude, okay? But, guys, he lived in the 1400s, okay? He didn't live in, remember, early 1900s, we were some bad dudes, okay?
Yeah,
and then we realized that it's not such a good thing. But, oh my gosh, you're going to take away the memory of Christopher Columbus? You're going to destroy a statue from the 1700s? That guy needs to go to jail and not come out.
Defacing public property.
Absolutely, absolutely. So where does it go? Last night I'm hearing seriousness that they're taking down the Jefferson stuff, changing street names, buildings. They're going to try and change the school Robert E. Lee here in Hillsborough County.
Yep.
Taking down our monument in the, let's see, ours, but the one in the Hillsborough County Courthouse. Is George Washington next? Seriously.
Now, the one thing I did see, I think, and Baltimore removed a bunch, and what they said is they're going to put them into Confederate graveyards.
Great idea.
That's a great idea. Why? That's use it for something different. Put it in a museum. Put it in a graveyard. Whatever it is. But like we talked about, if it was built during a certain era to instill fear, get rid of it.
Now, but don't forget, there is something a lot of people don't realize. And I hate the word traitor. That's why I bring up the thing about these are our brothers and our family and our our DNA. These traitors. The thing that upsets me is in the 50s, I think it was the 50s, Congress signed into law that any veteran of the Civil War is a veteran of the United States. So they have veterans' rights. They're protected. People don't know that. They don't realize that this is true. You have the sons and daughters of the Confederacy. You have scholarships.
But these are people that we walk with on a daily basis. That could be their great grandfather.
Right. Oh my gosh! How about that Robert Lee thing with ESPN?
Oh my, that's I don't even want to go there because that's so ridiculous.
Right, an Asian
guy. His last name is Lee, which that's like that's like
Smith.
Smith in the United States. He was named Robert just because he was Americanized, and then they say, sorry, you can't go on ESPN because your name is Robert E. Lee or Robert Lee.
Robert Lee. Right.
So ridiculous.
Come on.
That's what this world is coming to,
and that's scary.
It's just a bunch of entitled people.
That is very. Hey, Chris Swindle just made a comment on here. Doug is on point with that comment. Thank you, Doug. Chris, thanks for commenting. Hey, Jim, he's one of our biggest followers. He's on how, and he brought up something from our first segment. He said the amount of Republicans in the South and the amount of Democrats in the North has drastically changed over the years. Maybe the South will rise up again, as hard as that is for me to say, being from Massachusetts. So Jim, he's clearly a Yankee. I love you, Jim, but you're right. And if you've got any more comments, comment to that, Jim. I'd like a little bit more detail on there. But I think you're trying to say that it's maybe kind of flipped a little bit, or there's more integration of North and South. I'm not sure exactly where you're going with that. But either way, we're open to the discussion. So, Civil War causes. We went to that. The same traitors are our family. Let's talk about something crazy for a minute while we wait for some comments. Something different, right? Oh, shoot, I only have 50 seconds. All right, we'll do it when we get back. I want to talk about my trip to see the eclipse. Doug calls me crazy. Right?
You drove how many hours to go see an eclipse?
It's probably about 8 hours or so. I threw the family in the old electric vehicle.
How many stops you have to make before you got there?
Well, I'll tell the whole story when we get back. There was a couple stops, but it was an amazing experience. I don't know, maybe I'll see if Jimmy can share some of the pictures on Facebook. I'm not sure how that works.
Didn't Tesla just recently decide that they're no longer, I think your grandfathered in, but any new Teslas don't get free charging?
Yeah, you get 1,000 miles of supercharging a year, and then you get a nominal charge. I'll bring that up in the next segment. You're listening to the Business Happy Hour on 970 and Facebook Live. We're glad you guys are listening. Click, join, get in on this discussion. Doug Ford of Suncoast Roofing and myself of Lincoln Lending and 813 Mortgage. We're going to be back in just a couple minutes with more of this exciting talk, a little bit of eclipse talk.
Hi, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. Thank you for choosing us for all of your plumbing, septic, and water treatment needs. What makes us different at TampaBay Plumbers is that we're a local full-service plumbing contractor that can handle any project large or small, including cured-in-place pipelining, septic installations, and various water treatment products. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or 24/7 by phone at 813-PLUMBER. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you. This is Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. At some point, we've all had to have a drain line snaked out. This typically involves running a steel cable through the drain line in an effort to clear a blockage. This often leaves a film of scale or buildup on the inside of the pipe with a hole in the middle. The only way to properly descale a drain line is to perform a hydrojet service. We use equipment that essentially pressure washes the inside of the pipe, leaving your drain lines free and clear. The two symptoms of a sewer backup are foul odors and slow-moving drains. If you are experiencing either of these, contact us at tampaplumber.net or 813-PLUMBER. My name is Ryan, and I'm the production manager for TampaBay Plumbers, your one-stop shop for all of your plumbing and septic needs. We pride ourselves on building the reputation as the best plumbing and septic company in the Tampa Bay area. But don't take it from me. Look us up on Google and you will see that we have a 4.8 star rating with over 100 reviews. We also have multiple awards and recognition from multiple online review sites such as Angie's List, Yelp, and Facebook. We do everything plumbing and septic, from residential to commercial, new construction to service. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER. I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. As a plumbing and septic company with over 100 years of combined experience, we know how frustrating a sewer backup can be. That is why we pride ourselves on being able to identify the cause of a problem before a backup ever happens. One of the tools we use to identify a problem in the sewer system is a video inspection camera. This camera runs through the drain line and is able to identify and locate any problems in the sewer system on a live feed. We then take that information from the live feed and are able to provide a recommendation on how to best fix the problem, oftentimes without the use of any excavation. If you are experiencing any problems with your sewer system, you can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER.
Hi, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers, and welcome to our website. So what's different about TampaBay Plumbers? Everything is different about us. Our company does literally everything that involves plumbing, water, drainage, sewer, septic. We handle it from A to Z, which is completely different than just about every company in town. If you call a plumber, they don't do septic necessarily. Definitely if you call a septic contractor, they don't do plumbing. In addition to doing a very wide scope of services, we do them extremely well. And the reason why is our process and our people. We have spent many years perfecting our craft, and we've also spent many years finding the best people to operate our system. And we have by far the best plumbers in town. I will put my guys up against any companies, anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's just evidence in the type of quality work that we put out. Go online and look at our reviews on Google, look at our reviews on Angie's List. No one else is as highly rated as us unless they're putting bogus reviews up. But our company takes a lot of pride in what we do on a daily basis, and we hope that you give us a chance. Again, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. Thanks a lot for visiting our site.
You have been listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Hey, guys, welcome back to the show. Hey, by the way, what do you guys think about the new rejoiner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you should talk about, tell Peggy exactly what they didn't fire the guy from ESPN.
Yeah, Peggy, and we love you, by the way. Peggy is one of our longest listeners. No, they didn't fire the guy from ESPN. What happened was he was going to announce a Charlottesville game, and supposedly ESPN went to him and they had concerns. They thought that he was, this is the best part, he was going to be ridiculed and made fun of. So they said, hey, do you want to go to a safe space? I've got a safe space over here at another game. So they gave him another game to announce. They didn't fire him or anything like that. But this is the best example of how flippin' ridiculous what is going on is happening here. I mean, guys, he is of Asian descent. Okay. I mean, seriously. But and my wife brought this up. Baby, I hope you're listening. Great point. She said, who cares if it's the grandson of Robert E. Lee himself? It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that he's a racist jerk.
So even Trump, granted, I don't like the guy, but the thing is, his dad was racist. He's been caught at KKK Klan meetings. It doesn't mean Trump is racist.
But so was Kennedy.
I have lots of friends who tell me straight up, my dad is racist as anyone out there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm racist.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's just,
You cannot associate somebody. I mean, I've said it before. I have people on both sides of the Civil War who died from my family. Okay? Does that mean, what does that mean? I'm half racist? I mean,
apparently
this arm over here is the bad one. Don't go near this one. But this one over here is a real nice guy. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Hey, Ryan just joined in listening to the Business Happy Hour. How you doing, buddy? Can't wait to see what his comments are.
Oh, geez.
And Eminal, thank you very much for joining in. He's a Griffin Group agent. He's a great guy. If you guys want to comment, go ahead. We'd love to have it. And Chris, again, thanks for listening. So, I promised to talk about the eclipse. I know Doug is bored by it. But can you get pictures? If I text you something or whatever, can we get pictures on here of what I saw or no?
I think the coolest picture I saw was the one I sent you of the International Space Station.
That was amazing.
In the middle of the shot.
So it was a picture of the sun the way you would see it with the solar glasses on. And in the top left, it is clear as day.
Yeah.
It is the ISS.
What do you call that when someone gets in the picture? They call that
he photobombed.
Yeah, they photobombed
ISS photobombed the eclipse. This is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But so I took the whole family. We jumped in the Tesla. We drove to Savannah. Okay, and answer your question, I had to make 2 charging stops on the way, but it only totaled about 45 minutes worth of charging, so it wasn't bad. And I got 2 kids, so you got to get out and pee-pee.
Not so bad.
All right, so stopped a couple times, got to Savannah. Love that city, by the way. Talk about history, and I don't think I said it on the air. I said it before, but Savannah, very rich with history, very Southern history, and they have all those squares that have monuments to all kinds of people, not just Southerners or whatever, just anybody who's from the South, well, I guess from Savannah.
Yep.
But the people I asked a whole bunch of locals, what did they think about the whole debate? And they basically said it's garbage. They're like, we're a city of history. We don't care. There's nobody saying one way or another. And Savannah is a very diverse population, guys. It's there's all walks of life.
Yes.
Okay, in Savannah, and nobody cared. There was no protest. There's nothing strange. The coolest thing I saw, though, with all the statues, because I tried to walk around to some of the squares and see what they were. There was this monument. I will not say a statue because it had like 6 soldiers on it, and I didn't even know this, Doug. But this monument was from the 70s during the Revolutionary War. There was a group of African American soldiers from Haiti, and they were supporting the American cause. They fought for our freedom in the Revolutionary War, and they erected this awesome monument to these guys, all in their battle uniform, the drums, the muskets, everything. Beautiful. I mean, I got to get some research on it and put it out there for you guys on the Facebook page, but it just it made me think, like, I don't get it. Like in the 1700s, was there no racism or something like that? And then these guys fought for America with the traitors, and then everything changed. I don't know. It just made me ask all these questions.
Growing up in D.C. and growing up in a little town called Bethesda, like my parents just raised me that everyone's created equal. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is I lived in a very affluent area, but my school, Bethesda Chevy Chase, I think I was a minority.
Really?
Like, yeah, my school is black, Asian, Mexican, all different types of, all walks of life. And that was what I grew up with.
Interesting.
So moving to Florida has been almost a culture shock to me.
Crazy Southerners.
Most of my black friends were very, very, they were very well-spoken, well-educated. And I come not to make fun of anyone in Florida, but I feel like Florida is a dirty South. Like, it's just a different
you hear that, Nelly?
Different area altogether. I mean, it's just it's interesting. But yeah, everyone's created equal. Why do we have such division? It's sad.
It is sad, guys. We these traitors, guys, stop using that word. Okay, they're not traitors. These are the same guys that fought for our freedom from Britain. So you cannot call them a traitor. And then you probably should go do a DNA test and see how many of you guys are related to these traitors. By the way.
Yes.
Anyway, so hey, Ryan's on the show. Peggy, we miss Ryan, and James Henderson. Thanks for listening as well. We see you just joined on the Facebook live feed. So the eclipse, I got to go back to it, man. It was amazing.
Oh, this
It
eclipse.
was worth every minute, guys. Every minute. We put the family in. We went to Savannah, and everybody talked about the interstates were going to be a parking lot, and it was going to be the biggest traffic jam in world history, which it was not. But we got up.
So where'd you guys go?
So we went to Savannah. We got up early in the morning on Monday.
Is that
morning.
where you saw the eclipse of Savannah?
No, because the eclipse, Savannah was not full totality. It was like 98%.
Okay.
And
'Cause
totality.
I thought South Carolina was in the path.
It is. But so the totality happens, that's when the moon completely covers the sun and you can actually take off your glasses during totality. It's the only place you can do it. So we drove that morning to Santee, South Carolina. Most people have no clue where that is.
I know exactly where it is.
That-
My
which
parents
is
live in
amazing.
Hilton Head, so
Oh, okay. So that's
real close.
really, that's like 30 minutes away.
Yes.
Not far.
My dad said actually went dark in Hilton Head.
Oh, it did. No, Hilton Head was amazing as well. That's
Yeah.
Near Charleston.
Actually,
south
Savannah.
of that.
North
that's
of
right, north
Savannah.
of Savannah, right.
Yep.
So what basically happens is everybody went to this spot, and it was a Tesla supercharger, and it was hilarious. We pull in, and of course there's a line of cars. I charged my car real quick, and they were having a Tesla tailgate party. There was like 70 of them there. I had no clue what was happening. But Santee was on that line, that middle line that was supposed to get the most darkness because it was dead center of where the moon was going to pass. So it was so cool that, here comes, was it 2:42? And I mean, how scientists do this, I have no clue. But literally to the minute that they said it was going to get dark, it did.
Yeah, they're doing like a countdown.
Yeah, they did. And on NASA, they had a countdown. So you put your glasses on, everybody's watching it. You see the moon making the sun a crescent. And then all of a sudden, because those glasses, if you're wearing the right ones, everything else is black but the sun, which, by the way, you can still look today. It's pretty cool to look at the sun, but with the glasses on, guys. All of a sudden, the glasses go dark, completely black. And that's when you know you're in totality, and you pull the glasses off and you see that ring. And I got to say, I've never seen anything in my life that relates to it. Your whole body gets covered in goosebumps. The winds kick up. The birds go crazy. The crickets came out. It wasn't pitch dark because you still had a lot of moonlight, let's say, which is really sunlight coming around the moon. But it was amazing. It was so cool. I ran in my car and I had binoculars, and I pulled out binoculars and I looked at.
So how much time did you have? Like
2 minutes and like 36 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah, which it was enough. But then one of the coolest parts is what they call the diamond ring, which is right before it totally covers the sun, or right after, where you get this like sunlight coming around the canyons of the moon and the sparkle. Which if I can get those pictures online, I'll do that so you guys can see them. But it was phenomenal. So then we left, and instead of taking 95 like the rest of the world, we jumped off and took us some side streets, 15 and 17. Nobody was on them at all.
Nice.
So, I mean, it took me maybe an extra hour to get all the way back to Jacksonville, which is where I hung out that night. And, it wasn't terrible. But for all you Tesla drivers, it was quite interesting because the chargers were pretty full. So I did have to wait a couple times to charge a car, which I worry about with that new Model 3 coming out, how many cars are going to be charging. But to Doug's point, it's no longer free charging. You get 1,000 free miles, and then you have to pay what equates to about $9 to fill up your car.
So I think my friend did. He's got like a little Chevy
Volt?
No, it's not a Volt. It's
Leaf? What is it? Volt,
no, it's an
Leaf?
older one. It's a pretty cool little car. It's a Chevy.
Oh no.
Anyways, it's a little Chevy EV car, completely electric. And he went to downtown Tampa, and he charged. And he said it was actually cheaper to charge there than it is at his house.
Really?
Yeah, he told me like how much it was per kilowatt.
Yeah.
And it was actually cheaper.
Yeah.
At that, and it was a fast charge, so it was cheaper.
It's faster than his house for sure.
Yeah, because I think he said it was like 400 watts or something
That
of
sounds
charging,
right.
where your house is like 120 or 220. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it charged the whole entire car in like 20 minutes. 15
Yeah,
minutes.
they're usually double the
But
power.
his car only gets like 70 or 80 miles total.
Right.
On the battery charge.
That's
whatever it is.
that's the big difference in what
But
Tesla's doing.
it's a little car, but it's got some pickup. It's got 400 pounds of torque.
Yeah, because you're electric. It's full power.
It's crazy.
Right? Like Jeff that works for me used to drive the Prius.
Yeah.
Okay, and that thing, I mean, got in and I'm like, my gosh, this thing actually
I wish
moves.
I remember the name of this thing, because he actually took it to a dealership and they're like, wow, we've never seen one of these.
It's probably the original one that came out.
What was it called?
I don't know. I didn't adopt until the Tesla came out.
Tony, if you're listening,
cool.
chime in and let me know on Facebook Live because I always forget the name of your car.
Hey, John and Judy just joined on to listen to us. Thanks for listening. If you guys want to comment, feel free. Right now we're talking about the eclipse and probably get back into some controversy here after the break. But there's another eclipse coming. 2024. It's going to pass kind of. I think it's Mexico over.
It's
Western
like the exact
Texas.
Opposite, kind of like it almost makes an X.
Makes an
X of where it was last time.
Yep. But what was so special about this one is they said more people had the ability to see it than any other eclipse in history because of the way it literally went from Oregon all the way across the country to South Carolina, and I mean it was worth it. My kids, I brought my 5 and 7-year-old, and I know my son will never forget it. My daughter is hilarious. We're all looking up at the sky, and it goes total darkness, which means you can't see anything through your glasses. And we all take our glasses off, and I'm like, "Oh, this is amazing!" I look down, and my daughter still has her glasses on, looking up. I'm like, "Take your glasses off, honey." So it was pretty cute little thing. But if you guys have a chance, you definitely got to watch one of those. So when we get back from break, what do you think, Doug? Let's go into this whole thing about Trump and the GOP, and what Doug has a thought that I agree with about. Maybe what Trump is thinking in the old could be a drain the swamp on the GOP side, right, Doug?
I mean, it's a theory I have. I mean, it's just what I'm seeing and how things are going. It's just we'll see. Only time will tell. We got another when's a midterm? 2018. What?
Yeah, less than a year and a half, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna talk about this when we get back about a theory of what Trump might be doing to get some of this legislation passed, the wall, healthcare. Obamacare, all that stuff. You're listening to Business Happy Hour 970 and Facebook Live. Make sure you tune in and like us to watch us every week. We will be back in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. Thank you for choosing us for all of your plumbing, septic, and water treatment needs. What makes us different at TampaBay Plumbers is that we're a local full-service plumbing contractor that can handle any project, large or small, including cured-in-place pipelining, septic installations, and various water treatment products. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or 24/7 by phone at 813-PLUMBER. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you. This is Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. At some point, we've all had to have a drain line snaked out. This typically involves running a steel cable through the drain line in an effort to clear a blockage. This often leaves a film of scale or buildup on the inside of the pipe with a hole in the middle. The only way to properly descale a drain line is to perform a hydrojet service. We use equipment that essentially pressure washes the inside of the pipe, leaving your drain lines free and clear. The two symptoms of a sewer backup are foul odors and slow-moving drains. If you are experiencing either of these, contact us at tampaplumber.net or 813-PLUMBER. My name is Ryan, and I'm the production manager for TampaBay Plumbers, your one-stop shop for all of your plumbing and septic needs. We pride ourselves on building the reputation as the best plumbing and septic company in the Tampa Bay area. But don't take it from me. Look us up on Google and you will see that we have a 4.8 star rating with over 100 reviews. We also have multiple awards and recognition from multiple online review sites such as Angie's List, Yelp, and Facebook. We do everything plumbing and septic, from residential to commercial, new construction to service. You can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER. I'm Ryan with TampaBay Plumbers. As a plumbing and septic company with over 100 years of combined experience, we know how frustrating a sewer backup can be. That is why we pride ourselves on being able to identify the cause of a problem before a backup ever happens. One of the tools we use to identify a problem in the sewer system is a video inspection camera. This camera runs through the drain line and is able to identify and locate any problems in the sewer system on a live feed. We then take that information from the live feed and are able to provide a recommendation on how to best fix the problem, oftentimes without the use of any excavation. If you are experiencing any problems with your sewer system, you can find us at tampaplumber.net or call us at 813-PLUMBER.
Hi, I'm Ryan with Tampa Bay Plumbers, and welcome to our website. So what's different about Tampa Bay Plumbers? Everything is different about us. Our company does literally everything that involves plumbing, water, drainage, sewer, septic. We handle it from A to Z, which is completely different than just about every company in town. If you call a plumber, they don't do septic necessarily. Definitely if you call a septic contractor, they don't do plumbing. In addition to doing a very wide scope of services, we do them extremely well. And the reason why is our process and our people. We have spent many years perfecting our craft, and we've also spent many years finding the best people to operate our system. And we have by far the best plumbers in town. I will put my guys up against any companies, anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's just evidence in the type of quality work that we put out. Go online, look at our reviews on Google, look at our reviews on Angie's List. No one else is as highly rated as us unless they're putting bogus reviews up. But our company takes a lot of pride in what we do on a daily basis, and we hope that you give us a chance. Again, I'm Ryan with Tampa Bay Plumbers. Thanks a lot for visiting our site.
You have been listening to the Business Happy Hour with Frank Coto, Ryan Pelky, and Doug Ford. Now, back to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. We're having a good time, and hey, John and Judy, thanks for coming. I gotta give a shout out to Freddie and Margie. Freddie's my man. I haven't seen you in probably a year. What are you doing, man? Get over here in Tampa. Gotta have some fun. I'm glad you guys are listening. You're in the car and you're headed to a craft brewery and then a winery. Man,
Nice. Where at?
yeah. Where are you guys? Let's see. In Sarac? Syracuse. Boy, it took me to decipher that. Syracuse. I love spell check. Good job, guys. Syracuse. I'll use that one next time. But thanks for listening, guys. We're having a good time over here. So let's talk about Trump and the GOP for a minute, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some business, since we are the Business Happy Hour.
Seems like recently we don't even have any. The headlines just force us the wrong direction.
They do. We can't even talk about our own businesses. There's so much exciting stuff going on.
It's crazy.
But so Doug, this thought you had, I think I agree with you on it. Let's tell the listeners about this idea.
Well, I mean, I feel like Trump, not to say he's abandoned his agenda,
No.
but his agenda isn't happening.
Right.
He's alienated the entire GOP. And my thought is he's doing it, and he's actually like going after people.
Right.
Saying things about Mitch McConnell, saying things about McCain, all these different guys. Those guys are lifers.
Yep.
They've been in their job for how many years and done nothing? What's McConnell's approval rating in his state?
Oh, it
16, 17%. I mean,
17% in his own state.
Clearly, people don't even like him in his own state. So my idea is he's not draining the swamp, but what he's doing, he's prepping 2018 elections. So let's get a new person in taking over Mitch McConnell. Let's get a new Republican taking over, all these different people that aren't, fulfilling their jobs. And then in 2018, once he has that, he can actually accomplish something.
I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, so you think he's going to get out some of that, some of the old dogs?
I mean, it's the only thing that's going to work. I mean, clearly, his rhetoric is alienating everybody. Nobody likes him on the GOP. So the only way to get your agenda done is to get new people in there, get new life.
Yeah, and Ryan, we're missing our statistician today. That's why Doug and I are so general, by the way. Ryan, could you at least throw some stats on the Facebook page for us? We're over here saying we think, we heard, we might. I don't know. So we do need you here. So Ryan did bring up something recently. It was a few weeks ago, but I think it was like 8 out of 9 Senate and gubernatorial and local elections, the person that Trump was supporting won. And it seems like a lot of these people are more moving to that anti-politician.
So James just said term limits. I mean, I think we've said that a million times. I've said that for probably, let's see, I'm 34 years old. I've probably been saying this for 17 years.
Yeah.
Ever since I've known about living in the D.C. area, you obviously know about politics. And I don't know if that's ever going to change.
It's
because you have how are they going to term their own limits?
term their own limit.
Come
their
on,
own terms?
You think I'm going to term my own limits? Are you crazy? I mean, they have the
limit,
best.
He meant to say limit your own terms, but he keeps saying term your own limits. We didn't have any beers today, I promise.
Man.
But no, you're right. It's the people who are. It's just the reason that they have the different health care as us too. It's like, why would you vote against that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's ridiculous. But
maybe the president can do something about it. I mean,
he said he would, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I think what he's going to do is he's going to increase his term limit and decrease their term limits. No, Jim, you're right, man. Term limits would be a simple solution to change Washington across the board in one stroke.
I mean, how many years has Mitch McConnell been in office or been in his position?
Probably his whole. Has he ever had a job? There are people who have never had a job.
What's he done?
Well, okay, great point. In the last 7.5 years with Obama, when he was in, he talked all the time about repeal and replace. And this is why him and Trump are butting heads, because all of a sudden Trump gets in, he supports repeal and replace, and McConnell doesn't. It doesn't happen. So, of course he's mad at him. It makes no sense. I mean, I feel, deceived, honestly, by that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never liked Trump anyways, but at the same time, he's a master of branding.
He is a master at branding. But what is the thing that we said earlier today? If the guy will just stop talking about himself a little bit.
He's such a narcissist. It's sad.
Oh, my favorite is the Charlottesville, speech. And after
I have
the
a
speech,
winery in Charlottesville.
and it's a great one.
Do you think we care?
Hey, John and Judy, you guys should go to Trump's Charlottesville winery today.
That's a long drive.
Yeah, it's a long drive, but it's worth it. He said it's the best in Charlottesville.
Everything of Trump's is the best. Come on now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But no, I think he'd be a lot more effective if it was a little less about the branding and a little bit more just about the politics, I guess.
Yeah.
But then again, you have the Communist News Network over here fighting against it.
It's called the Clinton News Network.
Okay? I'm sorry, the Clinton Communist News Network. Whatever. Oh, there's some funny stuff going on about that. Apparently, Hillary just came out with a book recently. Yeah, I'm sure that's a good read. Bet you can believe everything.
She definitely needs more money.
Yeah. Let's donate to Hillary Clinton. Why don't we? So let's start into some of this business stuff. Doug, you brought up earlier, which we could have segued there about the whole thing about people posting things online and business being in a business and or not even being an owner, just working for somebody, and that could get you fired. Well, you really need to think about this as a business owner. How are you going to react if one of your employees comes out and says something that's completely derogatory on either side?
You have to fire them. I mean, it's just there's no way around it. I mean.
So let me ask you this, Doug. I'm going to throw a controversial question at you, and this is not rehearsed. So let's say you have an African-American employee,
yep,
and he comes out and makes some disparaging comments about other groups, okay, and says some negative things. Would you be scared to fire him because of backlash?
No.
Okay.
No.
Very interesting. And that's what I worry about.
Like I said, everyone's created equal.
Well, see, that's what I worry about. You've got a company like ESPN, so big, and they thought it was a good idea to make that decision about that Robert Lee Asian guy reporter. It just makes me feel like, is it scary? Do we have a double standard in this world? Can you not, be honest? Can you not stand up for morality? I
mean, there might be a little bit of a double standard. Obviously, Black Lives Matter is it was at one point in time a good cause, and it's turned violent almost. So
the comment I made to that is, and this is my opinion, is that Black Lives Matter was a good cause, but I think when it all changed is when they basically said that when people made comments about all lives matter or blue lives matter, that they were racist or they were, they didn't get the point or whatever. Guys, I mean, are we all not all humans? Don't all lives matter? I mean, it's not negative to say that, I don't think. And that's where I think the negative turn happened with the BLM. But I don't want to confuse them with that Antifa or whatever.
Antifa.
Yeah, sorry, I said that wrong, guys. Don't get mad at me, Antifa. But they're a terrorist organization, if you ask me.
Well, isn't Trump trying to label them or make it?
By all definition,
yes.
That's basically what they are. So that'll be very interesting what happens there. So in the last segment, guys, Doug and I are going to spend some time off of politics. We're going to try very hard, and we're going to talk about our own businesses. Doug, oh, man, I'm about to pull a Ryan over here. It's been so fast. I totally lost. Well, anyway, I guess thanks for listening to the show. Frank almost made a mistake there. We'll talk about our businesses and No Roof Left Behind. Make sure you go to No Roof Left Behind.
Yeah, go to our website.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week. Have a good day.